Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you're all well, you amazing, beautiful, wonderful people. It's Saturday. Didn't know that. And I'm back. Been away. Was away for a couple of days, but I'm back. Better put my glasses on, didn't I? So I can actually see. Better see. Plus I get told off. People tell me off. You're looking absolutely amazing, I must add. You must have had a good week. Better than mine. I officially hate camping. Hate it. And I am never camping in that roof tent ever again. Ever. I'll do a video over on the family channel in the next few days to give you my feedback on that. But anyway, in this video, I'm going to take your attention to Kathy's Indie Zone because she covered a doc. And it's like what I said before. Some of these docs, I know there's a lot of docs. If you guys want me to go through them, I'll go through them. Let me know down below. But there's so many of them that are shite, that are pointless. But some of them, every so often, there's a doc that comes out and you're like, hold on, that's a doc that needs to be sort of shown. That's a doc that people need to see. And what is this doc? This is a doc, one of the Idaho State Police docs that is it's a 10-page document. I'm not going to go through all the documents here. If you want to go through the whole lot, let me know, and I will happily go through it. Well, I say happily, not happily. I'll reluctantly go through it. Just kidding. Which is an interview with Dylan Mortensen. Now, this interview happened on the 17th of November. So it's all still a bit fresh, still a bit raw. It ain't weeks later, it ain't months later. Memories haven't faded. But basically, the be-all and end-all of this document is Dylan Mortensen offering up an alternative suspect. Now, she's being interviewed here. Dustin Blaker is in attendance. It's not face-to-face. It's done via video recording. It's an audio recorded. So, yeah, it's one of those. But I wanted to go through some of this doc. Now, the link to Kathy's video will be in the description of this video. So if you want to see her video in its entirety, it's only 8 minutes long. It's not a long one. It might just be worth heading over. But for the purpose of this video, it's really about just going over the bits that she highlights, like here. So we've got when it actually is. So the summary narrative is that on November 17th, 2022, Idaho State Police Detective Gooch, Victoria M. Gooch, of the Moscow Police Department and Sergeant Dustin Blaker interviewed such and such at her residence, such and such, Boise, Ada County, Idaho. The interview occurred with such and such, but it's fucking odd. We know that this is Dylan Mortensen and they're trying to redact it out. It's Dylan Mortensen, right? So she's got an attorney present as well, and it's an audio video one. So the interview was also audio recorded by me and Sergeant Blake. The thumb drive of the interview was assigned a tag, and it's got the tag number in the Tiburon case management system on November 20th, 2022. I do wonder whether we're going to get access to some of these audio things later on. Obviously, the weird thing at the moment is that it appears that they're claiming that there's no information, no audio from interviews conducted with Brian Kohberger. We've got a lot of audio audio things coming up. We've obviously got the body cam footage from the aftermath of the 911 call. It'd be interested to see whether, as time progresses, we get access to potential body cam footage from when they arrested Brian Kohberger. We'll see. But anyway, let's carry on swiftly. Swiftly moving on. I'm just going to ping through it. The first point that I would like to highlight for you is the time that this occurred. This was the 7th. She goes on to say this was the 17th that this took place. Is it going to let me drag through? Right, so these are some highlighted sections of this, right? So this is where she is offering up not only some more insight into the evening, because, like Kathy states here, there has been some ambiguity regarding where people were. When we got to this point, when we got to the actual plea deal and the sentencing, we still weren't able to accurately pinpoint and understand where certain people were at certain points in the evening. Now, this here would go on to say that it appears that Kaylee was at the house with an unknown female. So somebody else was involved here. There's another female. She doesn't give a name. She just basically says that she was at the house with a friend, and that friend was nice. Which, when you pair that with the DoorDash driver claiming to see a female in one of the windows that is bobbing and weaving in the fucking window, bit of that, it makes you wonder whether this is this individual, because again, we now have an unknown female. But it appears that they talk about going to the frat house, the frat house party. And it is at this point where Dylan Mortensen brings up about an individual who she claims could be a potential suspect. Now, the reason why she says that this person could be a potential suspect is that he had previously, I'm guessing it could be she, but it would appear that this is more led towards it being a male, had become physically aggressive and punched one of the friends in the stomach previously. There was no other context given as to why that occurred, but we are showing someone that, there seems to be somebody who is in their midst who had become violent towards one of the females previously. I find this very interesting because it would also show that she had shown a reluctance to bring this individual's name forward for fear of damage to this individual's reputation. And also, it's interesting because she mispronounces this individual's surname. So it's obviously a surname that would lead you to believe that there is a potential for mispronunciation. So let me know down below who you feel is on the peripheral of this, potentially someone that we have heard of previously, and that they could have potentially had their name mispronounced. But so she is claiming that there's somebody who has become violent previously, and another part of this that I find again quite interesting. And look, they talk about other games as well, like this Rage Cage, about their drinking games and stuff like that. These White Claw drinks. So it seems that there was a lot of drinks, there was a lot of drinking, there was a lot of things that could have potentially spiraled out of control. And if you've been around the channel long enough, you will know that for a long proportion of this situation, I had felt that this crime could have potentially been a fraternity, sorority fight. We've heard that there was a fight. We've heard that the fight was concerning to some of the parents to the point where they were thinking of traveling back over to Moscow to double check and see what was going on, but they didn't because they'd been drinking, which is a shame because ultimately I feel that had that have happened, we maybe have not been talking about this crime. But I always felt that there was a potential because of my own experience, especially with people with the use of specific narcotics surrounding, steroids and things like that, and roid rage. Things can happen, and I've been in a situation where I've had to stop things escalating and spiraling out of control. I always felt that there was a potential. Obviously, she feels that this person had knowledge of the property, which again I find interesting because if somebody had come in this house and just done this randomly, then how would you consider that the individual had knowledge of the property and its layout. Like, somebody could have just gone in here randomly and just randomly picked rooms and randomly picked people. So you wouldn't have necessarily had to have had knowledge. The fact that she brought up that she felt that it could have been someone who had been in the house previously, perhaps the year before, feeding into this narrative here, and that they seem to have sort of knowledge of the layout of the home, would seem to suggest that she felt that the person or people who entered this house had entered it and gone to where they needed to go. It doesn't make sense, which again, I don't know whether I'm reading into it too much, but that would suggest to me that they felt, Dylan Mortensen felt that the person entered the home and went exactly where they needed to go and they knew how to get there, rather than kind of some random entrance into the house and some random and sporadic movement throughout the house. But again, let me know down below what you think. But Kathy finished her video by kind of saying she doesn't know whether, because we don't know yet, whether there was any further investigation into this situation. Did Moscow Police Department take the accusation and take the thought seriously? And did they look into this individual, and was this individual cleared accurately and thoroughly, because we know that some of these didn't. Some of the people who literally offered alibis to some of the individuals really could have done with having alibis themselves. It's like mates becoming alibis for one another. Oh yeah, he couldn't have done it because he was with me and I was at home asleep and he was asleep. Well, that to me isn't a fucking alibi. You've got two people who really need an alibi offering each other alibis. And Steve Gonsalves saying he felt that people had been cleared way too soon. Let me know what you think. An interesting one. Like I say, some of these docs are quite interesting. Once again, the link to Kathy's video is in the description of this video, so you can head over and listen to her go through the doc. But I just wanted to bring it to your attention because I felt, again, some of these docs, they do deserve to be raised and prompt you to look at them and understand they exist, and understand that yet again we're in this realms of something gets started but seemingly doesn't get concluded. And it's almost like we don't need to conclude this because we already know where we're going with it. It's that vibe. Do you know what I mean? But again, let me know down below. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and I will catch you all tomorrow. You beautiful, beautiful, amazing, wonderful people. Mwah.